speak in the name of God, Creator, Redeemer and Sanctifier. Amen. Now, this sermon is based on a reflection for Parish Council that I did last month, and they've asked me to preach on it. But that doesn't mean that the parish councillors can go to sleep, because I've added some more. So what an amazing day yesterday. I don't know about you, but my feet were so sore by the time I got home, I could barely walk. But putting my sore feet aside, we thank God for all the help at the fair. And we thank God for those who weren't able to come. We thank you for your prayers for a successful day. And wasn't the weather terrific? We had one shower, just long enough to cover up the things on the trash and treasure store. And as soon as we'd covered it, it stopped. So we had to put all the things away again. But it was a great day of encouragement for all of us. But there's a lot in our world that people can be disheartened about, particularly in our Christian life. The common feeling is that very few people in the community care about church or Christianity or even God. For small churches like ours, financial burdens are great, and as congregations age, there are less people to help with the liturgy, the maintenance and the general support. In Camberwell, according to a report in The Age recently, 48.1% of the 22,398 residents, and that's 10,827 people, referred to themselves in the census as Christian. According to Google, there are 20 churches in Camberwell, but I'm pretty sure that they do not receive visits from that number every week. Even counting the Christmas and Easter folk and those who still call themselves Church of England, which usually indicates they haven't been to church for about 40 years, there are a lot of lost people out there. For many of us, it's hard to understand why people don't think like us. Why don't our children come to church? Why are people turning away from something that we love and know that is essential for our being who we are? There are many reasons for this disinterest, and most of them stem from what has been achieved in this amazing country, largely through the Christian witness and hard work. We have peace, we are educated, we are mostly equal, we have generous welfare and fair justice system, and we believe in a fair go for everyone. Now, most of you know that I came from a church which closed just before I was ordained, and the 12 people remaining in the congregation could not keep it going, even though it was financially viable. And those helping to financially support the mother church in the parish. But these faithful and hard-working people made the decision to return to the mother church, where they have reinvigorated the congregation there. These are difficult times financially, which many smaller churches are grappling with, and St Dunstan's isn't immune to these problems, as you know. Here at St Dunstan's we have an 8 a.m. congregation of around 14 people. We have a 9:30 a.m. congregation of around 30. Some are sleeping off the fate today. We have a monthly open church congregation which can reach 40. We have a midweek congregation averaging around 10, which includes residents and staff from Camberwell Gardens. Some people, but not many, attend more than one service. So we have, on average, 60 people who worship each week at St Dunstan's. Now, this is something to be rejoicing about. There are more than 20 women coming to the craft group weekly. Mothers Union has had 3 new members in the last year. Mainly music families gather every week during term. The kindergarten has around 30 families involved. We minister to over 80 residents and staff at 4 assisted living facilities. The tennis club is vibrant and active. Community yoga is getting into gear on Saturday afternoons. The people here at St Dunstan's care about each other, but also about people outside these walls. There's a strong feeling of social justice. Just look at the Hope for Birrendara and Beyond bags. I tried to count them before. I got to about 30 and there were still heaps more to go. And these are bags that people have filled with goods that are going to help the needy. And at Open Church this afternoon, more will come. And as well, jocks and socks and warm clothes for people doing it tough. So why are some of us feeling despondent? Just recently, a neighbour told one of our parishioners that they were sorry to hear that St Dunstan's was closing. This is an example of fake news. Yes, we have financial issues which were reported to the bishop, and I'm pretty sure that there are parishes in similar situations in this diocese who haven't faced up to this and haven't kept the bishop informed. But good governance is part of St Dunstan's ethos. We do what is right and have, as a result, have been encouraged by Bishop Geneve to work towards overcoming our financial shortfall. No one has announced that the church is closing. No plans have been set in motion to facilitate this. We have a vicar here who is passionate about building up the congregation. We have an assistant curate who, the Archbishop and God willing, will soon be appointed as assistant priest, licensed for 3 years to this parish. So does that sound like we're about to shut the doors? Yes, as always, people will die, move into care, retire to other places, move due to work situations, and spend more time at holiday homes and on overseas trips. That's Camberwell. And if, in the future, there are not enough people to constitute a congregation, or there's not enough money to keep the doors open, or not enough Christian spirit to think about others before ourselves, perhaps this church will close. If that eventuates, we will look back with immense gratitude to God that in a century of service, St Dunstan's congregation has touched thousands of people through their prayer and service. We have work to do at St Dunstan's, and we need to stop being disheartened and to look to a future where our goal is to worship God and to be his people in this place. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, was told by a businessman that the main job of the church was to do good. He was probably saying, don't get into politics and things like that. But the Archbishop replied, no, that's not right. The main role of the church is to worship God and to bring as many people as possible into the church. If we do that, the result will be amazing. This coming Thursday is Ascension Day and the beginning of the worldwide ecumenical prayer campaign, Thy Kingdom Come. Between Ascension and Pentecost, we're invited to pray intentionally for 5 people. When I was in the cathedral a few weeks ago, I found this little card and it says, pray for 5. Prayerfully choose 5 people to pray for. Friends, family, colleagues or people in public life. Tie a knot in the cord for each person, praying for them as you do so. Write their names on the back of this card to remind you, and wear or carry the cord to remind you to pray daily for 5 people. I've actually got, I didn't have fancy leather thongs to hand out, but I've got bright pink wool, so you won't lose it. You just want to hand those out. Thank you. Now, I hope you'll participate in this because it's amazing what extra prayer can do. And just put it in your pocket, but just be careful if you put your clothes into the washing machine with bright pink wool in it. It might be a bit difficult to get rid of the pink. So let's participate in this Thy Kingdom Come and see how amazing that extra prayer can be. As well as extra prayer, we, the clergy and congregation, need to dig deeper into our pockets as families and as individuals and give more money. We have to find innovative ways to raise money, just as people who built this church did as they approached the Great Depression. Money was tight then. I know it's tight now, but they built this church just at that time. And many of you have kept it going throughout your lifetime, through wars and through difficult times. Our founders had a vision, and we must keep that vision ahead of us, confidently and with faith. So be positive. The parish fair was a great opportunity to showcase what we do and why we are doing it, because of the love we have for God and his people. And in the Gospel today, Jesus talks about just that. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. And I have called you friends because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. And this, you did not choose me, but I chose you. And I appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask him in my name. I'm giving you these commands so that you may love one another. Jesus Christ has chosen us, you and me, to bear fruit that will last. Now, we're not talking about planting fruit trees here. In Galatians we read, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against these things there is no law. By allowing the Spirit to work in us and through us, and by allowing those fruits of the Spirit to guide our lives, we will feel the joy promised to us by our risen Lord. We will become better people, and the light of Christ will shine through us to everyone we meet. So as we approach Ascension Day this Thursday, think about the 5 issues you will pray for. Take that cord and tie a knot to remind you of each of your intentional prayers. And on Pentecost, also St Dunstan's Day this year, bring the cords back to church and we will offer our prayers confidently to God in faith, hope and love. The Lord be with you.
And also